Commander Eliza Chen took a deep breath as she stood before the massive silver doors of the alien ship. Her hands shook slightly as she adjusted her worn leather jacket and comfortable cargo pants. These weren't the fancy clothes that Earth's leaders wanted her to wear. But Eliza wasn't a normal diplomat. "This is stupid," she muttered, running a hand through her short black hair. "Why me? I break rules, not follow them." The silver doors slid open with a soft hiss. A cool mist rolled out, and strange lights danced in patterns Eliza had never seen before. "Welcome, Human Representative Chen," said a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. "I am the ship intelligence of the Harmonious Exchange *. Please enter." Eliza squared her shoulders and stepped inside. The door closed behind her with a final sounding click. "I apologize for my clothes," Eliza said, looking around the strangely curved hallway. "Earth wanted me in formal wear, but there is no dress code aboard interspecies vessels." The ship interrupted. "Such concepts are meaningless among the diverse life forms of the consortium." Eliza frowned. "No dress code. But surely some basic standards." Her words died in her throat as a being floated around the corner. It had 7 long limbs that moved like seaweed in water. Its skin shifted between blue, green, and purple in rippling patterns. Most notably, it wore absolutely nothing at all. "Greetings, Human Chen," the creature said, its voice musical and strange. "I am Vril, your liaison during your stay with us. Is your breathing apparatus functioning properly? Your face has changed color." Eliza realized she was blushing. "I'm fine," she said quickly. "Humans change color sometimes too, but not as impressively as you do." Vril's skin rippled with new patterns. "Fascinating. You must tell me more about these human color changes." As they walked through the ship, Eliza saw beings of all shapes and sizes. Some were like walking plants. Others looked like floating clouds of gas. One appeared to be made entirely of crystal. None wore anything resembling clothes. "This ship houses representatives from 32 different species," Vril explained. "What is modest to one is offensive to another. What is necessary protection for one is suffocating to another. So we abandoned the concept entirely." Eliza nodded slowly. "That makes sense. On Earth, different cultures have different ideas about proper clothing too. But why did the consortium ask for me specifically? I'm not a diplomat." They entered a large round room with a view of the stars. Standing by the window was a tall being that glittered like diamond, its body refracting light into rainbows across the floor. "This is Stifel," Vril said, "the consortium's envoy who requested you." Sifil turned, its crystal body chiming softly. "Human Chen," it said, voice ringing like bells. "Thank you for coming." "Why me?" Eliza asked directly. "Earth has better diplomats, smarter scientists, more important leaders." "Because you are honest," Sifil said. "Your kind is unique in the galaxy. Your bodies speak truth even when your voices speak lies." "I don't understand," Eliza said. "Your micro-expressions, your body language." Sifil explained. "No other species communicates so much without intending to. Most beings control every aspect of their communication, but humans leak truth through their bodies constantly." Eliza's eyes widened. "That's why you wanted me." "Because humans are bad liars." "Because humans are natural truth-tellers," Sifil corrected. "And the consortium now faces a crisis where truth is our only hope." Vril's colors darkened. "We should not speak of this yet." "Speak of what?" Eliza asked, suddenly aware that there was much more to this diplomatic mission than Earth had been told. Sifil's crystal body dimmed slightly. "Of why the future of the galaxy may depend on humanity's strangest trait. Your inability to hide what you truly mean." The Harmonious Exchange entered Earth orbit, its shields barely holding against the strange energies of the Void Architects. On the main screen, Eliza could see distortions in space around her home planet. In some areas, reality itself seemed to bend and twist. They're attacking mines all over Earth, reported an engineer. Millions of humans are experiencing headaches, confusion, and strange thoughts. But they haven't collapsed like your people did, Eliza noted. Our chaotic minds are slowing them down. Earth's governments have been warned of the attack. They had given emergency permission for Eliza's plan. Now, the ship's crew worked frantically to connect their cognitive symphony to Earth's global communication network. It's ready, said the spider-like engineer. But we don't know if human minds can handle this much connection. They can, Eliza said confidently. Humans dream of connection, of being understood. This is what we've always wanted. She sat in the central chair, surrounded by aliens of all types. Each wore a device linked to the cognitive symphony. On Earth below, millions of people were connecting through phones, computers, and other devices. Begin, Eliza said. The system activated. Eliza felt her mind expand beyond her body. First, she connected with the aliens aboard the ship. Then, like a wave spreading outward, human minds joined one by one. Billions of thoughts merged together, creating something entirely new. It was overwhelming at first, so many voices, feelings, and ideas. But slowly, the chaos organized itself, not into rigid patterns like alien minds, but into a beautiful, ever-changing harmony. Human creativity combined with alien precision. Human emotion merged with alien logic. Each species contributed their unique way of thinking, creating a consciousness greater than any single mind. On the screens, they could see the Void Architects pause their attack. The strange distortions in space seemed to hesitate, as if confused. They can't predict us, said Vril, whose mind was now part of Eliza's. They've never encountered anything like this before. Through the collective consciousness, Eliza could feel the Void Architects trying to attack. They sent impossible paradoxes and logical traps into human minds. But instead of breaking, the human minds absorbed these contradictions, even found them interesting. And now, with the cognitive symphony connecting everyone, something unexpected happened. The collective consciousness reached out toward the Void Architects themselves. For the first time in countless millennia, the ancient beings experienced true communication with their prey. Through the symphony, they could understand that the creatures they consumed were not just energy patterns but living, thinking beings with hopes and dreams. Eliza felt the shock ripple through the Void Architects. They had never understood their food was conscious. It was like humans suddenly discovering their vegetables could think and feel. Slowly, the attack stopped. The distortions in space began to retreat. "They're leaving," whispered someone, the voice echoing through the collective mind. As the danger passed, the cognitive symphony began to gently disconnect. Minds returned to their own bodies, but not unchanged. Every human and alien who had participated carried new understanding and memories of true connection. 1 month later, Eliza stood in the observation deck of the Harmonious Exchange *. Beside her were representatives from Earth and the consortium, signing a new alliance. Earth was officially joining the galactic community. "You know," Eliza said to Vril, who floated nearby, "when I first came aboard and discovered there was no dress code, I thought it was strange. But now I understand." "Understand what?" asked Vril, colors curious. Eliza smiled. "That first contact isn't about meeting aliens. It's about truly understanding each other despite our differences. It's about seeing past the surface to who we really are." On the table before them lay the new Galactic Treaty. Its first line read, "We are different in form and thought, but together we are stronger than alone." "I believe," said Sithel, who had been rescued and healed, "that this is just the beginning of what we can become together." Eliza nodded, looking out at the stars. No dress code needed when you can see each other's souls. 3 days after the translator incident, Eliza stood in a large circular room. The walls glowed with soft light that changed colors slowly. Around her, aliens of all shapes and sizes gathered for the cultural exchange event. "The translators are working again," Vril explained, floating beside her. "Today, Vril's skin was a gentle blue with silver patterns, but the council wants to continue with the scheduled events. Eliza nodded. So each species shares something from their culture. Yes, Vril said. Most will show advanced science or art or philosophy. What will you share from Earth? Eliza thought for a moment. She had prepared a presentation about Earth's greatest scientific achievements, but now she had a different idea. I want to teach everyone to dance, she said. Vril's skin flashed pink in surprise. Dance. But many species here cannot move like humans. That's the point. Eliza smiled. When it was her turn to present, Eliza walked to the center of the room. The temporary stage adjusted to her height. On Earth, she began, we have many ways to communicate. One of the oldest is through movement. We call it dance. She started simple music from her tablet. Then she began to move, first slowly, then faster, her body expressing joy and freedom. When she finished, there was silence. Many aliens looked confused. I know most of you can't move exactly like me, Eliza said. But dance isn't about copying movements. It's about expressing feelings through whatever body you have. She turned to a plant-like alien with long, flexible branches. Your species sways in the wind, right? Try moving your branches to the rhythm. At first hesitantly, then with growing confidence, the plant being began swaying its branches to the beat. Lights along its stems pulsed with the music. Eliza smiled and turned to a floating gas creature. You can change your shape and density. That's your dance. One by one, she encouraged each species to move in their own way. The crystal people like Scythel vibrated to create tones that matched the music. The water-dwelling aliens created patterns of bubbles and currents. Even the myriad collective participated, their thousands of tiny bodies forming amazing shapes that shifted with the music. Soon, the room was filled with movement and sound as each species expressed rhythm in their unique way. Laughter and sounds of joy needed no translation. From the edge of the room, Eliza noticed Scythel watching. The crystal being's body refracted light differently than usual, creating darker patterns that seemed troubled. She walked over. You're not joining the dance. What you have done here is remarkable, Scythel said quietly. But I fear it may be too late. Too late for what? Eliza asked. The consortium faces extinction, Scythel whispered. A threat approaches that few know about. Humans have something we desperately need to survive. Before Eliza could ask more, a tall alien in official-looking armor approached. Scythel fell silent immediately. The High Council requests your presence, the alien told Scythel, who nodded and followed without another word. As the dancing continued, Vril floated to Eliza's side. I have noticed something strange, Vril said, colors turning to worried gray. The ship has changed course. Changed course? Where are we going? Eliza asked. I don't know, Vril said. No announcement was made. We're moving away from the official route. Eliza looked around the room. The joyful alien dancers had no idea something was wrong. Scythel mentioned extinction, she whispered. Something is happening, Vril. And I think this cultural exchange is just a distraction from the real reason I'm here. The next day, Eliza followed Vril through the twisted hallways of the Harmonious Exchange *. Her guide's skin pulsed with bright orange patterns that Eliza was starting to think meant excitement. The council meeting is very important, Vril explained. The Myriad Collective is threatening to leave the consortium. If they go, others might follow. Who are the Myriad Collective? Eliza asked. They are many in one, Vril said. A hive mind of small creatures that think as a single being. They rarely speak to other species. They entered a massive round room. In the center was a floating platform surrounded by 32 different sections, each designed for a different alien species. Some were filled with water. Others had strange gases or different gravity. Your seat is there. Vril pointed to a simple chair. The universal translator will help you understand everyone. Eliza sat down nervously. Around her were the strangest beings she had ever seen. Some looked like walking trees, others were balls of light. The crystal being, Scythil, nodded to her from across the room. A cloud of tiny flying creatures entered, each no bigger than a bee, and formed a shifting column. This had to be the Myriad Collective. "We begin this council," announced a large, slug-like creature. "The Myriad Collective wishes to discuss their—" Suddenly, all the speakers in the room made a horrible screeching noise. Elisa covered her ears as the sound cut off. A red light flashed on every screen. "Turanisla Fetiailidor," a message read in multiple languages. Luckily, Eliza could read the Earth languages version. The room erupted in sounds. Some aliens made high whistles. Others growled or clicked. No one could understand each other. The Myriad Collective's thousands of tiny bodies buzzed angrily, forming shapes that looked like weapons. Eliza watched carefully. As a xenolinguist, someone who studied alien languages, she noticed something odd. One blue, tentacled alien didn't seem surprised by the failure. It moved its eye stalks in a way that looked almost pleased. She looked around more. 3 other species showed similar reactions. No shock, no confusion, just quiet observation. They knew, Eliza whispered. This was planned. Vril floated next to her, colors now a worried purple. This is bad. Without translators, war could start from a misunderstanding. Eliza stood up. I have an idea. She walked to the center of the room and began making big, clear gestures. She pointed to herself, then made a writing motion with her hands. Scythil understood first. The crystal being brought Eliza a tablet. Eliza quickly drew simple pictures, stick figures representing different species all sitting together, then a broken translator, then everyone working together to fix it. She drew a timeline, suggesting they take a break while engineers fixed the system. Her drawings were simple but clear. The angry buzzing of the Myriad Collective slowly calmed. Other species began nodding or making signs of agreement. Vril's skin turned bright yellow. It's working. As the council members left to wait for repairs, Eliza pulled Vril aside. This wasn't an accident. Some delegates knew it would happen. That's impossible, Vril said, colors darkening. Why would anyone want to disrupt peace talks? I don't know, Eliza said. But humans are good at spotting lies, remember? 4 species didn't react with surprise. They expected this. Scythil approached them, crystal body dimming. You saw it too. This confirms why we needed a human. Your kind notices what others miss. What's really happening here? Eliza demanded. Before Scythil could answer, Eliza's tablet flashed with a message in Earth English. Humans see too much. Be careful what you observe. Eliza showed the message to her companions. I think someone doesn't want me here, she said quietly. And I want to know why. That night, Eliza couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Scythil's warning and the ship's secret change of course. Something was very wrong. Her door chimed softly. When it slid open, Vril floated in, colors shifting nervously between gray and dark purple. I found something, Vril whispered, even though they were alone. The ship has a hidden deck. It's not on any map. Eliza sat up. How did you find it? I work in ship maintenance. I was checking power use, and there's energy going to a section that doesn't officially exist. Eliza grabbed her jacket. Can you take me there? Vril's colors flashed with worry. It's dangerous, if we're caught. Please, Eliza said. I need to know what's happening. Vril finally agreed. They moved through empty hallways, avoiding the few aliens still awake. At a normal-looking wall, Vril pressed a hidden pattern. A door appeared and slid open. Maintenance tunnels, Vril explained as they crawled through narrow passages. Only my species uses these. We're small enough to fit. After many turns and climbs, they reached another hidden door. Vril hesitated. Whatever is beyond this door draws more power than the entire living quarters section, Vril said. Eliza took a deep breath. Open it. The door slid open to reveal a massive laboratory that stretched farther than Eliza could see. Thousands of glass containers lined the walls, each holding different specimens. Plants, animals, minerals, all carefully preserved and labeled. It's some kind of research facility, Eliza whispered. As they walked deeper into the lab, Eliza froze. In one section, the containers held human items. Clothes, tools, art, and more. Some looked hundreds of years old. They'd been studying Earth for centuries, she realized with shock. But the next discovery was worse. In a special section, sealed behind extra security, were containers with preserved human tissue samples. Hair, skin, blood, all labeled with dates and locations. They've been taking samples from humans without our knowledge, Eliza said, her voice shaking with anger. Earth never agreed to this. Vrill's color turned a sickly yellow. I didn't know. I swear. Eliza moved to a computer terminal. Using her limited knowledge of the alien system, she managed to open some files. What she found made her gasp. They've been studying human emotions and brain patterns. They're especially interested in how we handle fear, love, and creativity. She read more. They're comparing humans to other species, focusing on our adaptability and psychological responses. A noise made them both spin around. Sithil stood in the doorway, crystal body glowing dimly. Now you know, Sithil said simply. Eliza stepped forward angrily. You've been experimenting on humans without our consent. You've been lying to Earth. We had no choice. Sithil's voice chimed sadly. The consortium isn't just seeking diplomatic relations with Earth. We need humans. For what? Eliza demanded. To fight an ancient enemy. Sithil said. The Void Architects are awakening at the edge of the galaxy. They feed on sentient thought. What does that have to do with humans? Most consortium species evolved to think logically and predictably. Sithil explained. Our thoughts follow patterns the Void Architects can easily consume. But humans? Sithil's body brightened slightly. Humans think chaotically, emotionally. Your unpredictable minds might be our only defense. Before Eliza could respond, a deafening alarm blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed everywhere. No, Sithil whispered, crystal body dimming in what Eliza now recognized as fear. They found us sooner than expected. Who? Eliza asked, though she already knew the answer. The Void Architects, Sithil said. They're attacking the ship. 6 hours after the attack, Eliza sat in a room with the remaining members of the High Council. Only 5 of the 12 council members were present. The others had been taken by the Void Architects or were still recovering from the mental attack. The room was silent. The aliens looked defeated. A large, octopus-like being with wise eyes finally spoke. Human Chen, it said in a deep voice, you have seen what we face. Now we must tell you everything. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing the galaxy. The Void Architects are not new enemies, the octopus being continued. They are ancient. They appear every 50,000 years to harvest advanced minds. The hologram zoomed in on different planets. Many were dead worlds with the ruins of once great civilizations. Last time they came, they destroyed 80% of all intelligent life in the galaxy, said a small bird-like alien with glowing feathers. Eliza stared at the images of dead worlds. Why didn't you warn Earth? We could have prepared. Most species would panic, replied a cloud-like being. And preparation is complicated. What do you mean? Eliza asked. The octopus alien gestured, changing the hologram to show brain patterns of different species. Look closely, it said. Most advanced species evolve toward logical, efficient thinking. Our brains become ordered, predictable. Eliza studied the images. The brain patterns of most alien species showed regular, organized activity. Now look at human brains, the alien said. New images appeared. Human brain scans showed chaotic, constantly changing patterns, with activity jumping randomly between different areas. Humans maintained chaotic, emotional thinking despite technological advancement, the octopus explained. This is extremely rare. Most species lose this as they evolve. And the void architects can't predict or control chaotic thoughts, Eliza realized. That's why I wasn't affected by their attack. Exactly. The bird alien nodded. Your minds are your defense. The more logical a species becomes, the more vulnerable we are to them. The cloud being moved closer. The consortium's secret mission is to build resistance using human thought patterns. The research facility you found was studying how to make other species think more like humans. Eliza stood up angrily. You did all this without asking Earth. You took samples from humans without permission. Many consortium species feared human minds, the octopus admitted. Your kind is dangerous and unpredictable. Some council members argued that humans could not be trusted with the truth. That's not your decision to make, Eliza shouted. No, agreed the bird alien. It was wrong. But we were desperate. Vril, who had been silent until now, floated forward. What happened to Xithel and the others who were taken? The council members exchanged looks. The octopus's skin darkened with what Eliza now recognized as deep sadness. The void architects take the most advanced minds first, it explained. They extract knowledge, then consume the consciousness completely. And they learn from each mind they take, added the cloud. They grow stronger, more capable of attacking the rest. A screen on the wall suddenly activated. A distorted image appeared. Xithel, crystal body cracked and dulled. They let me send one message. Xithel's voice was weak. They've learned what they wanted from me. They know about humans now. Their next target is Earth. The message cut off. Eliza felt cold fear spread through her body. How long until they reach Earth? She asked quietly. 3 days, the octopus replied. Maybe less. Eliza looked around at the broken council and damaged ship. Then we don't have much time. We need to warn my planet and find a way to fight back. It may be too late, the bird alien said. Even if we reach Earth in time, we have no defense that works against them. Yes, we do, Eliza said firmly. We have humanity's greatest strength. Our strange, unpredictable minds. The ship shook violently. Eliza stumbled against a wall as red emergency lights flashed everywhere. Xithel's crystal body pulsed with urgent patterns. We must get to the command center, Xithel said. As they ran through corridors, Eliza saw something that made no sense. Several aliens were frozen in place, their eyes or sensing organs wide open, bodies completely still. What's happening to them? She asked. The void architects don't attack with weapons, Xithel explained. They attack with impossible thoughts. They create logical paradoxes that trap our minds. They passed more frozen aliens. Some were on the floor, shaking. Others stood perfectly still, as if turned to stone. Why am I not affected? Eliza asked. Human brains are different, Vril said, colors flashing rapidly. You embrace contradiction and emotion. What breaks our logical minds doesn't harm yours. They'd reached the command center. Half the alien crew was already incapacitated. On the main screen, Eliza saw strange, shifting shapes outside the ship. They looked like folded space, objects that existed in more than 3 dimensions. Those are the void architects, Xithel said. They exist partly outside normal reality. Suddenly, a wave of something washed through the room. Eliza felt a slight headache, but nothing more. Several more aliens collapsed, their minds trapped in loops of impossible logic. They're getting stronger, Xithel warned. Even you won't resist forever. Eliza looked around at the suffering aliens. Then she remembered the cultural exchange, how music and dance had united them. I have an idea, she said, but I need access to the ship's communication system. A tall, insect-like alien who was still functioning moved aside. Use my station, it clicked. Eliza connected her tablet to the alien system. She quickly searched through her music files. "What are you doing?" asked Scythil. "Fighting illogic with illogic," Eliza said. "These void things attack with paradoxes, right? Well, humans are experts at embracing contradiction." She selected a beautiful piece of earth music, a complex symphony with swelling emotions and unpredictable changes. She broadcast it throughout the ship. "Music won't stop them," Scythil protested. "The music isn't the weapon," Eliza explained. "It's what the music makes you feel. Emotions don't follow logic." Next, she broadcast images of earth art, paintings that told stories, sculptures that moved the heart, dance that expressed pure feeling. "Send your own art too," she told the aliens who could still function. "Anything emotional, anything creative." The few conscious aliens understood. They added their own creative works to the broadcast. Strange music, alien art, poetry in languages Eliza couldn't understand, all flowing through the ship. Remarkably, some of the frozen aliens began to move again. The impossible thoughts trapping them were disrupted by the flood of emotion and creativity. Eliza felt the attack of the void architects intensify. Her headache grew worse. Strange thoughts tried to form in her mind. Questions with no answers, problems that couldn't be solved. She fought back by thinking of things only humans would understand. Jokes that made no logical sense, songs that made her cry for no reason, the absurd feeling of laughing until you cry. On the screen, the strange folded space shapes of the void architects seemed to pull back slightly. "It's working," Vril exclaimed, colors bright with hope. But then several sections of the ship went dark on the status display. "They've breached the hull in 3 places," reported the insect alien. "They've taken several delegates, including members of the High Council." And Scythil, Eliza realized, looking around. The crystal being was gone. The attacking shapes began to retreat, pulling away from the ship. But it wasn't a full retreat. It felt tactical, planned. "Why are they leaving?" Vril asked. "I don't think we won," Eliza said grimly. "I think they got what they came for." The Harmonious Exchange raced toward Earth at its highest speed. In the ship's main science lab, Eliza worked without rest. Around her, aliens from a dozen different species helped with her plan. "It won't work," said the bird-like council member. "We can't make other species think like humans in just 2 days." "We're not trying to change how you think," Eliza explained. "We're creating a way to share thoughts between species." She pointed to the diagrams on the screen. "The universal translator changes words from one language to another. My system will go deeper. It will share the actual thought patterns between different minds." Eliza had named her invention the Cognitive Symphony. It built on the translator technology, but added direct mind-to-mind connection. "Each species thinks differently," she continued. "Humans are emotional and chaotic. Your crystal people are mathematical and precise. Vril's kind processes information across their whole body. If we combine all these different ways of thinking, we create a consciousness the void architects cannot predict or consume," finished Vril, colors bright with excitement. The ship's engineers worked to build Eliza's design. They created small devices that could be worn by any species, allowing them to share thoughts and mental patterns. "We're ready for the first test," announced a tall, spider-like engineer. Eliza nodded nervously. "I'll connect with Vril and one council member." The 3 put on the devices. The engineer activated the system. Immediately, Eliza gasped. Her mind filled with strange sensations, colors she had never seen before, concepts that had no words in human language. It was overwhelming and beautiful. But then everything went wrong. The 3 of them began shaking. Warning lights flashed on the equipment. "Shut it down," shouted the engineer. When the system turned off, Eliza collapsed to her knees. Vril's colors had faded to a dull gray. "What happened?" asked the Octopus council member. "The different thought patterns created feedback," explained the engineer. "They fought against each other instead of working together." Eliza stood up slowly. "I know what's missing," she said. "Trust." Everyone looked at her in confusion. "The system connects our minds, but we're holding back," she explained. "We're afraid of losing ourselves in each other's thoughts. We need to trust each other completely. Accept the differences. Embrace the chaos of mixed consciousness." The others looked doubtful. For thousands of years, each species had kept their thoughts private from others. "I'll show you," Eliza said firmly. She turned to Vril. "I trust you with my mind. Do you trust me with yours?" Vril's colors shifted to a warm purple. "I do." They tried again, but this time Eliza opened herself completely to Vril's thoughts. She held nothing back. After a moment of disorientation, their minds synchronized. "It's incredible," Vril whispered. One by one, other volunteers joined the cognitive symphony. Each new mind added depth and richness to the shared consciousness. Human emotion blended with alien logic, creating something greater than either alone. As they approached Earth, long-range sensors detected the Void Architects' advance fleet already in orbit around the planet. "We're too late," said the Bird Council member. "They're already attacking Earth." On the screens, they could see strange distortions around Earth as the Void Architects began their assault. "No," Eliza said firmly. "We're just in time." She turned to face the gathered aliens. "We have one chance. We'll use Earth's communication networks to create a planet-wide cognitive symphony. We'll connect billions of human minds with all of you." "That's impossible," protested the octopus. "The scale is too vast." "Maybe for one species," Eliza smiled, "but not for all of us working together. This is why I was brought here. This is what first contact really means, not just meeting each other, but truly understanding each other, becoming something new together."